Hello, and welcome to the Built to Be Human podcast, the podcast where we explore how human biology was designed to function and what happens when modern life pulls us away from these foundations. Today, the topic is going to be what can our ancient ancestors, teach us about modern health? So, this is definitely not about romanticizing the past. Because most modern humans have no desire to go through what our ancestors went through. Things like infectious disease, food scarcity, harsh environments, and a high child mortality rate. But despite those realities, our bodies were shaped by hundreds of thousands of years of evolution under conditions that were far different from what we experience today. The human body that carries us through our day to day is largely similar to the bodies of our ancient ancestors that carried them across fields and grasslands, mountains and deserts. Yet the environment that's surrounding our bodies has changed drastically. So today we're going to explore what our ancient ancestors can teach us about movement, nutrition, sleep, stress, community, and resilience, and how those lessons may help us navigate our modern health challenges. One of the most important concepts in functional health is understanding that evolution works slowly. Human technology evolves rapidly. We're looking at updates to systems every 3 to 6 months at this point. But human biology does not. No biology tends to evolve quickly. The smartphone in your pocket is younger than your grandparents. The grocery store is newer than most of your family history. The industrial food system is so incredibly new, it's insane. But the systems regulating hunger, sleep, movement, and stress, as well as social behavior, were shaped over thousands of generations, not thousands of years, thousands of generations. This creates what researchers often call evolutionary mismatch. In simple terms, the body was designed for one environment, but it's now living in another. Many modern chronic diseases may be influenced in part by that mismatch. Ancient humans evolved moving constantly, but they rarely exercised. They didn't go to the gym. They didn't track steps. They didn't wear fitness watches. Yet movement was woven into daily life. Actually, it was life. Walking, carrying, climbing, squatting, reaching, lifting, and exploring. Movement wasn't a separate activity. It was life itself. Modern humans often experience the opposite. Long periods of sitting interrupted by short bursts of activity. Research consistently shows that regular daily movement supports cardiovascular health, metabolic function, mobility, and longevity. But it's not just going to the gym. It's not just getting 5 or 10,000 steps a day. It's being active throughout the day. And this means if you are in a position of sitting, when I'm in a position of sitting, I should say, I don't sit for more than 10 to 15 minutes at a time without getting up and moving around, whether I'm working on a computer, whether I'm watching something on a television, regardless of whatever screen I've got in front of me, I'm still going to get up and do some movement. I'm still going to get some exercise. I'm still going to do things to make sure that I'm not living a sedentary lifestyle. Ancient humans ate food, not products. Ancient diets varied widely depending on geography, climate, and season. As a matter of fact, before we started to live in permanent places, we were nomads. In other words, we went where the food was. So as the seasons changed, we'd move from one area to another so that we did not get, so that we had access to foods that we didn't have access to in the area because the season had changed. Some populations ate more animal foods. Others relied more heavily on plant foods. Again, that's going to be more geographically based. But they ate food that still resembled where it came from their local environment. It wasn't shipped across the planet. There were no energy drinks. There were no ultra processed snacks. There were no grocery stores. So there were no foods engineered to maximize consumption. There were no foods engineered to cause you to be addicted to them. There were no foods engineered to deceive your taste buds into thinking that you're eating something that you're not. Ancient humans teach us that food was nourishment first, entertainment second. A useful question is, would my great 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 grandparents recognize this as food? Because a lot of it, I promise you, they wouldn't. Another things that ancient humans did that we've fallen out of the habit of is they lived according to natural rhythms. For most of human history, sunlight determined the rhythm of the day. Morning light signaled wakefulness, darkness signaled sleep or rest. Our circadian rhythm evolved around these natural cues, these natural environmental cues. Today, many people spend most of the day indoors, most of the evening under artificial light, significant time in front of a screen, and usually sitting down while they're doing it. This actually can disrupt your circadian rhythm and negatively affect your sleep, your metabolism, your mood, as well as your overall health. Ancient humans remind us that biology responds to rhythms. The body thrives when it knows when to be awake and when to rest. How often do you experience that? How many of you wake up to an alarm? How many of you have to force yourself to sleep at night? Because that's going to cause health issues. It's going to cause stress. And even if it's not obvious, even if you're not zeroing in on the fact that you're stressed, it's still causing some sort of stress in your body. Stress is not a modern invention, of course. Ancient humans had all kinds of dangers, uncertainty, and hardships. But their stressors were often immediate and temporary. They didn't go on and on and on. A threat appeared, the body responded, the threat passed, and recovery followed. Modern stress is very different from this. We've got emails, we have deadlines, we have notifications, we have financial concerns. We're overwhelmed with information. Many people experience low-level activation all day, low-level stress activation all day. The body struggles when stress becomes chronic rather than episodic. Ancient humans teach us that recovery is just as important as adaptation. Another thing that ancient humans did that we tend to not do as much is they were deeply connected. Community was important to them. Humans are very much social creatures. For most of history, survival depended on that community. As a matter of fact, when you got booted out of the community, that was more or less a death sentence unless you could find somewhere else that would accept you. Isolation could be dangerous. Connection was protective. Today, despite unprecedented digital technology and connectivity, loneliness has become a major public health concern. I keep saying this over and over again. Connecting with people through a screen is not connecting with people. It doesn't work. You can deceive yourself intellectually into thinking so, but the way we're hardwired as an animal absolutely knows the difference. Research links social isolation and loneliness to increased risk of poor health outcomes and premature mortality, which basically means you'll die sooner. I feel loneliness all the time. I actually commented to somebody the other day that if social media did not exist, guess what people would do? They would actually socialize, and it wouldn't have anything to do with a screen or being online. It would be connecting to people in their own environment, in their own area. And quite honestly, I really feel that it would cause people to behave a little better. I've caught myself, and I've seen other people do it as well, where they just kind of don't really care what they do or what people think of them because they can get online or they can move somewhere else and have a new start in terms of socializing and social activities. But our ancient ancestors didn't have any access to any of that. It was either you are a part of the community or you're on your own. So ancient humans remind us that health is not purely individual. It is relational. Community is not a luxury. It's part of our biology. So ancient humans obviously spent way more time outdoors than we do. Nature wasn't a wellness practice, it was simply a part of life. Ancient humans experienced sunlight, fresh air, natural terrain, changing seasons, natural sounds. Modern life often separates us from all of these inputs. Research increasingly shows benefits associated with time in natural environments, including improvements in stress regulation, mental well being, and physical activity levels. Nature isn't a trend. It really isn't. Hugging a tree isn't a trend. It's an ancestral input. It's part of what keeps us healthy. It's part of what allows us to be human, as a matter of fact. So, what should we actually take away from this? The goal is not to live like it's 10,000 years ago, as much as there's times where I might claim that I would prefer that to be the case. Most of us aren't interested in abandoning modern medicine. I actually am. I don't like modern medicine at all. I really don't think it has that big of a place. I don't believe it has as big of a place as it now currently has within our society. I'll actually get into that in another podcast because that's a huge topic in and of itself. And I could talk for days on that topic, and that's part of why I've gotten into doing what I do. Um, but most people like their indoor plumbing, they like their hot water, they like access to refrigeration, they like their air conditioning. Not everybody does, but a lot of people do. So the goal is to ask, what aspects of human biology remain unchanged? In other words, we still need movement, we still need sleep, we still need real food, we still need sunlight, we still need community, purpose, recovery, as well as nature. Technology has changed. Human needs really have not changed. The challenge of modern health is learning how to honor ancient biology in a modern world. So the challenge is this week, choose one ancestral habit to practice daily. Walk outside for 20 minutes. Eat one meal made of whole foods. Have a meal with another person. Get morning sunlight. Spend 10 minutes in nature without your phone. Can you spend 10 minutes in your house without your phone? How about 10 minutes outside in nature without your phone? Go to bed 30 minutes earlier than you normally do. Don't stay up so late because you're watching a movie or because you're trying to get one more comment in on your social media platform. It's really not worth it. The small actions often create the biggest shifts. And honestly, when I start working with people, that's kind of the MO that I work with. I usually suggest implementing specific changes that are designed to elicit quick response, a quick change, a quick improvement in some area of their life that allows them to be motivated to continue on the path that they're on. So it's not about changing everything at once. It's not about all of a sudden losing 100 pounds. It's about doing things that you can do that are sustainable, that are incremental, that allow you to continue, that allow you to start taking charge of your experience and your health. So one of the things I'd like you to do is ask yourself, which part of modern life feels most disconnected from how humans were designed to live? Where do you personally feel the greatest mismatch? And what is one small step you can take this week to bring your lifestyle into closer alignment with your biology? This is something I've actively done for, I don't know, over 20 years, closer to 30, to be honest with you. But those first couple of years that I was doing it, I didn't have anywhere near the information I have now. I really didn't have that great of an understanding of what sort of direction to take with things. All of that came later. All of that came from years and years of trial and error, seeing how things worked, seeing how I felt, seeing how it impacted my health, seeing how it impacted my wellness and my mental health. It wasn't something that I automatically knew because I've been just like you. I've been so disconnected from what it means to be human for so many years that it's confusing, or it can be confusing. So the whole point is to get back to that ancestral blueprint that we all have. It's actually encoded in our very DNA. So perhaps if we do this, we can find a huge clue as to how we can live healthier lives today. So until next time, stay curious, stay functional, and remember, you were built to be human. Have a great day.